Hello, Scorpio, and welcome to your January 2025 forecast. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. It's great to see you. This reading is going to help you navigate all of the opportunities and whatever challenges might be in front of you. I want to get started with some dream interpretation. Last night before I got started, I said, show me what I need to see for the sign of Scorpio. And what came through was a reminder to slow down. What's really interesting is this morning I did a year at a glance reading for everybody. And I noticed that in the first quarter, and really kind of the first half of the year, there was a common theme of taking a couple of steps back, looking at where you were, making sure that you weren't rushing to the finish line. For you especially, though, the way that Spirit conveyed this was a car racing towards like a yellow light. And you know that you're pushing your luck when that happens because it could turn red and you could end up in the intersection. The message here is to pace yourself, not to take unnecessary risks, and really to focus on, if there is a slight pause or delay, using that to your benefit. Sometimes if you're working on a project, you can improve it. You might catch an error that was there. And if you rush, you miss these things. So don't take unnecessary risk. Don't rush to the finish line. Pace yourself. For the next message, it's a little bit more complicated. What I was shown was a series of symbols, and I'm going to put them together and try to give you the best interpretation here. So the first one was kind of like a limit. I was shown a space that was kind of, organized into these smaller spaces and it looked like it was full. Then I was shown a lock symbol and then the number 2. So there may be something where you're not going to make it in the first round because there's a limited amount of spaces, a limited amount of time. And so it's like apply or try again. The second time will be better. This is also a reminder to keep an eye on paperwork. There could be a deadline that you're not paying attention to, a legal deadline, or again, just maybe something that is part of the hierarchy and you just have to do something by a due date. If you miss it, you get a second chance, but don't miss the second chance. So that's a very specific message for a subset of those that are watching. But I think we can take the two of them together, and here's the main takeaway. If you take your time, if you're careful, I feel like you can even avoid what we saw there, because the first message was don't rush. And take time periodically to just tune in and look at the small stuff, the paperwork, the deadlines, the expectations, and make sure you're tracking on all of that. For the general year reading that I did, January was summed up by the 8 of Wands, which is showing a lot of things moving at once. So I think for you in particular, Scorpio, it's just about making sure that you don't get distracted. And if you're multitasking and you need help, make sure that you just delegate to someone that you can trust and that can help you out with that. All right. Overall, these are fairly manageable things. It's just about not pushing yourself too much. All right. Before we get into the cards, here's a quick look at Apollo, who's just relaxing in the background. He always brings a little bit of Zen, so I thought I would share that. All right, now let's shuffle the cards and see what's coming through. Close your eyes if you will. Imagine that the sun is shining directly overhead, creating this beautiful cylinder of light that is comprising your body, protecting you, keeping you connected to source. In this circle of white light, let's call in angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters and begin. Welcome everybody again. Good to see you. I'm looking forward to seeing what January is bringing forth. It's a beautiful 8 of Swords. Brand new deck that I'm using here. Really enjoy the colors here. Some change going on here. This is why I think it's important to slow down. We'll talk about it more in a few minutes. Let me just get everything pulled. And ooh, we have a hidden card there. All right, let's get started first with your Catalyst card. And it's interesting here. This Catalyst reads all my connections, or all my relations, and then interconnectedness. So a reversed version of this, it kind of reminds me of the Ten of Pentacles, because when I think of Ten of Pentacles, it can be friends, colleagues, loved ones. It can indicate marriage and contracts. And it is all of those relationships and connections. Sometimes we feel pressure with those connections to meet up to expectations, to achieve, to make other people happy, because they sometimes vicariously live through you. So the first message in the Catalyst is to push back a little bit and don't lose a sense of yourself, because it should be reciprocal, community, give and take. It shouldn't just be all you doing something for someone else or you feeling the weight or the pressure of their expectations. This is also for some of you a chance to, if you're lacking the connections in your life, maybe finding it. So it feels like it's one extreme or another, either too much of the friends, family, and colleagues, or you feel like that's a missing component and you want to put a little bit more energy there. The main thing here is no matter which end you're working on, there's a general understanding that you are the most valuable component. You're more than enough. And when you really feel your sense of worth and ability, this is going to help you pull in the right caliber of connection, right? Okay. Let's quickly look at the overarching spread and just see what this month is bringing. I always like to look at this diagonal here, the past, near future, and outcome. So the trickster came through. There is a chance to see through illusions, to see past your own sort of limited thoughts or maybe even some of the limiting energy from the friends and the family. And it feels like once that's dispelled, then there's this new awakening here with the Two of Wands. There's a change. You might be breaking free from something. And then we start to see growth and recovery. It's a pretty amazing spread, actually. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's start off with the Four of Cups here, your center card. I like that the card was reversed because it's showing that the overarching energy of the Four of Cups is lessening, and that with a slight shift of perspective, you too can see like the silver lining or this blessing in disguise, which is showing up there in the grass. If we look at this in the upright position, it's really powerful because what I get is like an old song lyric, but it's like, don't let anybody rain on your parade. Often, there are people in your life that when you're achieving success or when things are going well, jealousy could be setting in. It's also a reminder for you, if you are feeling that towards someone else, that it really doesn't serve a higher purpose. I always like to take jealousy and turn it around into inspiration. So if you're feeling frustrated or jealous because someone else has gone further, look at them and think, is there anything from their process, from their sort of habits that I could apply to my life so that I too could achieve success? What can I learn from them? So, the best thing that you can do is surround yourself with really successful people and learn from them. Don't be jealous. Just absorb and think, all right, that's good. Okay, that's great. Maybe I can apply that in my life as well. Get inspired. I also think that this has to do with this sort of interconnectedness, all my relations. So again, this is friends, family, coworkers. The pressure, the thoughts, the energy from them, sometimes when you're doing well, or if you confound them and are doing something that they don't understand, they rain on your parade. I feel like you're on the precipice of something exciting, a great growth opportunity. And it may have already been something that you stumbled upon. Don't let their fears or their misunderstanding hold you back, because I do feel like in this moment in time, you are poised for success. Here's a really cool thing. So that extra cup that's floating here could represent somebody new coming into your life. And it takes you by surprise. There's an element of surprise in the Eight of Swords. Also in the Two of Wands in reverse. It may not be exactly when you wanted someone to come into your life or how you expected to meet somebody. And whether it's a friend, a colleague, or a lover, it still feels good. One of the ways you know you're in the presence of the Six of Cups is it's easy. And what I mean by that is it's easy to have fun. It's easy to talk to them. It's easy to get them on the phone. There's no sense of friction. And I have really good friends in my life where it is like that. Even if we don't talk for years, I could pick up the phone and I know that they would answer at the other end, or if we needed to connect, we could. And then when we do, it's like, oh, why don't we do this more often? This is so much fun. It's so easy because there's so many other people in your life where it takes a lot of work. You know that you're in the presence of a soul partner, someone that you've either been contracted to meet in this lifetime, you have a soul contract, or you've met many times in many lives, and it's like, I know you. This extends, by the way, to animals. I know with Apollo, there's such a gentle ease. Like whenever we hang out, it just feels like there's no problem. He gets me, I get him. He doesn't act up when I'm doing videos. He just chills out if we're on the couch or if we're walking. So such a great energy. So if you find that sense of like there's no friction and you just want more, you know that you're in the presence of a soul connection. And I feel like you could find that this month. It could be very welcoming and a great shift, because karmically it hasn't always been there. In fact, you may be on the heels of kind of recovering from a bad relationship. The trickster, aka the devil, this represents someone who did not come through authentically. Perhaps they told a lie, perhaps they just weren't able to follow through on their promises. Whatever it was, there was a sense of disappointment, and you felt like you didn't get what you signed up for, right? The trickster. It is in the past. So learn from it, release it. You are entitled to feel whatever you need to feel about it. I've known more than one trickster in my lifetime, and you never completely get over that, but that's good on some levels because you've learned from it. And that helps you stay strong and aware. But don't let it limit you or block you from this. This, to me, doesn't feel like this. It feels like the universe is trying to help you see something new, okay? Now, Eight of Swords. This is a beautiful Eight of Swords. The only thing, I'm going to pull the traditional card in a second, but one thing that it doesn't do is show how you can sometimes be in a prison of thought. But what it is doing very well here is showing how the limiting thoughts can trap you. So we see a spider and a web, and sometimes we can get caught up in a web of fear, or someone else in our life is kind of pulling us into their own reality or their own sort of narrative. It's important for you to separate yourself from that, because it does feel like it's kind of negative. And it could be a friend or a family member that's around you. I feel like you would know it immediately. You know who I'm talking about. So if there is someone in your life who just can't be happy for you, is jealous, is controlling, isn't honest, it's not your job to fix them. It's not your fault. And the best thing that you can do right now is to create boundaries and focus on higher quality and higher frequency relationships. You are already, I would say, 75% the way there, but there is this sort of fear or anxiety that might be hanging around. So as we read the rest of the cards today, I hope to help you break through that. Before we move on to the next card, we have to really look at this traditional illustration. And what Spirit wants me to say specifically is that disbelief is tantamount to those blindfolds. If you think that it's either black or white and there's no shades of gray in between, then you'll miss the shades of gray. You'll miss all the other opportunities that might be knocking. If you think to yourself, if I don't see it, it isn't possible, then you've already cut off the potential for surprise, the element of surprise. So think to yourself, I wonder what else is possible. I wonder if there's something better. I'm ready to be surprised in a positive way. It doesn't have to be a trick anymore. It could instead be an upgrade. It could be something good, ready for some good news. Okay, so open yourself up a little bit. Don't create this web or prison of thoughts. Both of these illustrations do an okay job of showing the different aspects of this. So this is getting trapped in your thoughts, and this is what it feels like when you're trapped in your thoughts, okay? Let's move on to, it's so interesting that the moon was hiding behind the Seven of Cups. So the Seven of Cups can be a very cool card because it can be dreaming, exploring, imagining, and we want that. So that's good. It can also feel a little overwhelming. You can see that sense of, what should I do, right? In this particular illustration. Here's the cool thing. As you get older, you realize that, like I was saying, it's not right versus wrong. We don't have these binary sort of truths. That like life is a little bit more nuanced. It's a little bit more complicated. So open yourself up to just go with what feels right. Give yourself time to dream, but don't overthink it. The moon was hiding beneath this card. It's encouraging you to trust your instinct. This is, if we were to look at the different psychic cards like High Priestess, Magician, and the moon, you feel it in your bones. You just know it. So I feel like there's an inner gut instinct, a survival instinct even, that's going to help you make the right decision. And this is saying you're overthinking it, and this is just saying trust your gut, okay? And that's it. You already know. You know on some level what the next move or next step should be. If you need some advice or help, go for it. And I would say one thing that you can do here is limit how many things you're looking at. 3 is usually a great number. 2 is fine. If you have this tendency to go down the rabbit hole, just don't create so many options that you get lost. Take time to work your magic. Take time to dream. The traditional illustration for this card shows somebody holding a globe and also looking out to the distance. And it's kind of like you have the future world card there saying, I know where I want to go. I know where I am. How can I get there? It's not limiting yourself like we were talking about here, which is, I can't do it. It's saying, how can I do that? And this is the key to your success. This is going to help you unlock things. Because I feel like, again, second chances, if I go back to my channeled messages and think about, something was filled up, there's a lock, there's a number 2. Sometimes the second time is a charm because you're ready, you're clear, you're not going to allow yourself to miss out on something. And now we have the power of 2 coming through. She's working her magic. That's what I see here too. She might also be juggling a couple of things at once. Don't lose track of what it is that you're trying to do. Take time, as I said, to check in and to plan and to reroute as necessary. But the important thing here is you might be denying yourself the dreaming, the sort of like, it's not just dreaming, it's the planning phase too. So figuring out how, where, and why you're going to bring and breathe life into this idea. Okay. I love that they called temperance possibility in this deck because it's saying, before you say it's impossible, before you go forward and commit to something, breathe and just allow yourself to sit with the possibility for a second. I love that they also have 1 foot in the water, 1 foot on land, very much like the traditional temperance card. It's helping you see that patience and really persistence is key here because it might take a couple of attempts. And if you're patient with yourself and patient with others, the path will reveal itself. And that is a pivotal piece on the traditional card here. By the way, this I usually attribute to like April. We're looking at the new year. There might be something that's coming through just after the first quarter. It might take 2 to 3 months, again, the number 2, to happen, but it will happen. This is also about making sure that you're balancing out your happiness and taking care of yourself. Emotional well-being is definitely connected with temperance, not going to extremes, basically. But those 2 cups, you're deciding to just make sure that nothing is pulling you to extremes. Weigh it all out, feel it out on a heart level, and then move forward. This is also angelic guidance. I've been seeing this a lot as I've been looking at the new year and even some of the readings oriented around the new year. So as long as you take it slow and as long as you listen, you'll be fine. We have some things to look at in the environment. If you're going to get the tower, there are a few places where it doesn't bother me too much. This is not so much about you, it's about what's around you. So I had someone once in a daily read ask, like, how do you know that this means cleaning or home improvement or construction? If it's in the environment, it's showing that things are messy or being rebuilt around you. And that's what's going on here. So just the upright tower would show, wow, it's a mess. The reverse tower is saying, no, there's actually reconstruction or reorganization going on. So in a place of work, there could be new leadership. Your job could be changing. You may be moving from one physical location to another. In a home environment, it might be time to fix something. The roof could be leaking, the air conditioner might need to be repaired. Get ahead of it. Whenever you see a tower, particularly when it comes to maintenance, it's saying, before it becomes a problem, fix it. It might be expensive now, but it'll be worse later. The other thing with a reverse tower is there's an opportunity to surf the wave of change, which means that you can land on your feet if you accept it. Like, I can't change this, but I might be able to affect it. I may be able to embrace it, and I might come out better than I was initially by doing so. So if there is change going on at work, you talk to your boss and say, I'd love to talk about what this could mean for me. I'm curious and I'm optimistic, whatever. Just kind of like look at it from how can this maybe work for me? And if there's something that's not working, like let's say it's a relationship and the tower reverse comes through, you both could just be looking at this saying, I think we've done what we need to. Why don't we move in a different direction? You can save yourself time and energy. So you're either going to embrace what's already fallen apart, or you're going to take the pieces and mold them into something that works for you. Embrace change and become an agent of the change. Sometimes the tower is good. Now, one thing with this card I would also say is if something doesn't feel right, particularly in a living or working environment, now is the time to look beyond and find something new. And that's why the Two of Wands was here. All right, let me just pull the blind behind me because there's a little bit of glare, and then we're going to look at hope spheres and opportunities. All right, we have the Seven of Pentacles coming through here, and this is a good space for this. Like I said, hopes, fears, potential, and this shows growth and recovery. It isn't an accident that this comes through in a financial card. Some of you may be right on the heels of making necessary change. So the Tower could be messy finances. The Seven of Pentacles, you're taking it and saying, all right, I'm going to make some changes. I'm going to pay some things off. I'm going to be smarter about expenditures. And I'm going to understand that it takes time. It takes a while to get into something. It takes a while to get out of it or recover from it. So that's a good general sort of thing to embrace and just understand that change takes time. Now, this does represent also a chance for expansion. You're past the tipping point of the Six of Pentacles, which means that you're making progress. And one of the keys to success here sometimes is simply to let whatever it is that needs to grow, heal, or develop, just let it be and focus on something else. I mentioned that you might be juggling two things. So when you've done all that you can in one area, continue and just sort of let it do its thing. And then you might wake up one day and then all of a sudden this has grown to something amazing. When you're trying to watch water boil, it feels like it takes forever. But if you do something over here and then you look and you're like, oh my God, it's already bubbling over. It's just a matter of perspective. You're making more progress than you think. Don't fixate so much on what isn't there, but look at how far you've come, okay? And now the outcome card is quite nice here. We have Page of Wands. The page is just a little bit doubtful. He or she is just wondering, can I do it? I would say whatever it is that you want to proceed with, there needs to be this sense of self-confidence, clarity, and really those two things are enough. If you believe in yourself and you're clear on what it is that you're trying to do, then it's fine. You're half the way there. Then it's just putting in the work. But working on believing and also kind of like projecting that sense of confidence to others, that's the make it or break it moment here. Now, the page can also listen and get inspired. So a reverse Page of Wands is saying, I feel a little like the spark isn't there. So there may be a desire to maybe go back to school or read a book or talk to someone or connect with a mentor, someone who can help ignite the spark or something in your life that helps you feel that sense of getting inspired. So the big opportunity this month is to find the inspiration. Let's go ahead now and we're going to expand this a little bit deeper, going into health, wealth, love, and destiny. We're going to start off with health, which is your mind, body, and spirit. So the oracle card for health says the Queen Bee. I love this because it's so clear on what it is that you need to do. A queen bee is the head of an organization, basically. She's super organized. People are looking up to her. Some of you may feel like you're that queen bee in your life. Maybe there's a partner or some children or people in the community that look up to you. And it's pretty impressive. I mean, there's a lot going on. Don't underestimate your ability to pull things together, but the queen bee needs attention too. So in this moment, she would be connected to like the Queen of Pentacles, for instance. Don't be afraid to ask for assistance if you need it. Don't be afraid to take care of yourself a little bit, spoil yourself, nurture yourself, and know that you're going to be okay. There may also need to be better boundaries. So if I were to think of the colony of bees, everybody knows their swim lane. The worker bees and the drone bees and the queen bee, each of them knows their job, and really there's no fighting about that for the most part. So when there's absolute clarity on expectations and everybody can kind of like focus on their own thing, it makes life easier. This is also a great productive symbol to come through. So if you need confirmation that you can do it, this is saying you've got the magic, you can make it happen. Because these are pollinators, so anything they touch, it's like the green thumb. So I see growth, particularly when it comes to this. So if this helps you, like worry less about finances, great. Also, when we're looking at health, we see that there's the ability to recover. But the key to success is easy does it. Because if you rush through that yellow light, then we see the crash and burn energy here. And this can also be burnout. So let's just get into the spread. I'm already there. All right, I mentioned it. Something in the environment, the job, the company you keep, the activities that you have. So now I get it. Like it's a metaphor, but it could actually be literal if you're not careful. So crashing. When I think of a crash, it can be sort of like your energy crashing, right? So think about if you drink too much caffeine. When you don't have any more and you're still awake and you're tired, there's the energy crash and you're just like, I got to go to sleep. There can be burnout where there's a point where you just can't do it anymore because emotionally you're exhausted or physically you get sick. Let's avoid that, Scorpio. You don't need to do this. It's important to slow down, take a day off, take some time, meditate. That absolutely is a message coming through from the Temperance card. Breathe, meditate, and pace yourself. All right, let's look at the other cards and see what else is coming through. Again, boundaries when necessary with friends, family, and colleagues. If they're going over those boundaries and you're feeling like you just don't have your time and space, that's really important to communicate. There could be a temptation from the past that's presenting itself again. This could be in a person or a place. And if that trickery, devil energy from the past is coming through, you'll know it, you'll recognize it, and you're going to sort of say, thanks, but no thanks. Sometimes we think if I ignore it, it will go away. The blindfold card from the Eight of Swords, for instance. And you know better than that. It doesn't go away. It sometimes will just end up becoming the Tower. So if something doesn't feel, look, or sound right, raise your hand and speak up. Ask a question. Don't ignore. The Moon card can represent moon cycles. It can also be dehydration. So if anything like that is cyclically not where it should be, obviously speak with a healthcare professional. Overall, what we are seeing here is the ability to manage change and see slow but steady growth, and manage healing, and again, see slow but steady progress. Don't overdo it. Don't ignore the warning signs. That's the main thing here. I feel like as long as you are awake, aware, and proactive, you'll be fine. But suffice it to say, it's going to be important this month not to overwork, not to go out to too many social events, and to really pay attention to the people in your life. Do you trust them? If you don't, get a second opinion. The number 2 comes through in health saying, talk to someone else. Until you can find that sense of it's easy, they're listening to me, they're my advocate, then you know you're okay. So definitely do your homework, do your research, and get a second opinion if you feel like you need to. I just want to end on the Seven of Pentacles, which shows that if you take all of this into account, you're on the right track toward that recovery. But if you need to move on, out, or up from an environment or a situation that is distracting, yes, please, this is the time to do it. Okay? Let's move on. Let's see what's coming through in wealth, your resources, your life purpose, and your career. It's time to take action. So this is almost like an Ace of Swords reversed. And when it's reversed, it's saying, I know what I want, and I have to be the person that's going to bring it into action. So it reads Sword of Light, Divine Protection, Cords Cut, hello, Breakthrough Energy. So I like this. The tower can be positive. We didn't focus on positive towers. Let's do it now. It could be a chance for advancement because we're looking at wealth. It could be a chance to move out of a situation that doesn't feel good, moving up. New love, new partnership, new jobs, new ideas. These sort of things can be a paradigm shift, and everything changes for the better. One of the things you might need to do is say goodbye to someone or something, the cord cutting, and this helps you break through and also break away from this. I do feel like there's someone or something that needs to be separated or severed this month. You'll know it. You'll recognize it when it happens. Let it go. There's something better coming. Okay? So we're going to do something new with wealth. I'm helping us get a clearer and more concise view on it. We're going to pull one card for each of the subcategories to just help each of you really understand what's coming forth. So we're going to look at everything that we normally do, those who have a traditional job. Then we're going to look at entrepreneurs. Then we'll take a look at job seekers. Then we'll look at students and then retirees. All right, beginning first with those who are currently employed. The Seven of Swords is so connected to this. So if you watch my videos enough, you know that Seven of Swords, Five of Swords, Moon, and Devil energy all work in concert. So recognize what's going on. The Seven of Swords in reverse is you calling it out. This is someone trying to sneak away, get away with something. So what you'll do in this situation is call it out and say, that's not what we talked about. This isn't how we're supposed to proceed. The locking metaphor makes sense. You might have to lock someone out and just say, we can't do this anymore, right? You're protecting yourself, making sure, maybe it's security too, like, your place of work. Make sure you've changed your password. Make sure if there's previous employees or previous clients that they no longer have access to things. It's a very specific message. I think it's important to think to yourself, do I feel safe? Do I feel appreciated? And do I trust my employer and my boss and my coworkers? Because there are some cards here that make me question that. I feel like there may be a history of them saying, we're going to come through on something, but you don't see it. They don't follow through. There may be a lack of safety or collaboration or cooperation in the environment. And if this is the case, you have a chance right now to find something new. Be smart and be careful. I would say avoid gossip at all costs when we see something like Seven of Swords energy. It can and it will get back to someone. Someone may be trying to extract information from you as well. For everyone else, this can just be the inner saboteur. So the Seven of Swords comes through when you think you can get away with something. So it's also a cautionary note to you. Oh, no one will notice if I don't do this, or I'll start this tomorrow. It can just sort of be that voice telling you it's not a problem when you know that it is. So be honest, be transparent, stay accountable, hold others to account. Do a little bit of an audit. In other words, check in and think, do I still want to be here in the long run? Because you may not, and now is the time to look, okay? Get everything in writing. Don't accept a handshake when you have Seven of Swords energy because they may not follow through. All right, that's the cautionary note on that. If you have your own company, Six of Swords is pretty good. This is about expansion, and expansion beyond your current geographical borders. So you might be thinking of globalization. It's not as big as the world. It could just be, going out to one more country or one larger sort of group that you don't normally, market to or sell to, but we do see things expanding. There might be something positive that comes from a physical move. You might have outgrown your office or the place that you're operating in, and you're looking to move, and that's perfect. And that's why the tower, there could also just be noise. It's difficult to concentrate. And this is true of everybody in this category. And if that's the case, it might be time to just kind of find a place where you can be more productive. But things are moving in a right direction here. Focus on travel and expansion, however that makes sense to you, and positive things can come of that, okay? Moving on to job seekers. I see the stress, I understand. This is an interesting time. Like the beginning of the new year, sometimes budgets aren't always sorted out. There may be a lot of people seeking work at the same time. Try not to let that pressure lean into your psyche too much. I know, easier said than done. What I'm seeing here is it might be time to shake up what you're doing or where you're looking at work. And if we go back to the traditional illustration for the Two of Wands, looking in different countries, looking in different geographical locations, also very much connected to that Six of Swords that I was just looking at for entrepreneurs. So if you're both an entrepreneur and looking for work, because it can kind of be a combination of the two sometimes, I really do think looking at changing where you're living or working could be very advantageous. Moving on to students, we have the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Overall, a pretty good card, but the Queen of Pentacles in reverse is saying take care of yourself, particularly your health. And what could be happening for some of you is working to the point of exhaustion or fatigue. Overall, I like what I see here. However, with the Page of Wands in reverse, there might be something that you're not feeling like you can talk about when it comes to study, career trajectory, etc. And I feel like seeking out a new mentor, a new voice can help here, someone that can help you see how to pull it all together. Because it feels very possible to me, but there might be something in the current program or curriculum that isn't perfectly matched for you. So this is about creating like a special study or independent study. And this is possible, but it does require asking for permission, right? I'd like to do this. I'd like to structure this. Can I work with this teacher in this discipline and add it to my curriculum? I'm seeing something like that, and it could be really advantageous. Finally, looking at retirees, we have the Five of Cups reversed. And the Five of Cups is not beating yourself up for, I wish I had done this, I wish I had done that. It's making the most of the time that's given here. We have the Two Cups upright, and it's just like the Four of Cups that we looked at earlier. You don't want to be the one raining on your parade. Don't let anyone else rain on your parade, and don't focus on all the spilled milk here. You want to instead say, I still can do that. I want this. Let's focus on the things that are manageable and within reach, and you're going to be more effective, you're going to be happier, and a lot of great things can come through with that. The other thing here with the Tower, you might be looking at downsizing. I think it's really important to make sure that you have a clear idea of where you want to go next before selling or changing the environment up too much. All right, let's move on to love and relationships. We have a card here that easier said than done, right? Grace coming through. Finding a way to be graceful with yourself, with others, being patient with them. I feel like also very nicely connected to the Temperance card. The word possibility on that even helps us, which is, entertain somebody's idea or possibility before you cast judgment on it. It's their life, it's their choice. And there's a freedom in not feeling like you have to control everything in that respect, right? All right, let's break this down now into 3 subcategories. We're going to look at those who are currently in a relationship. We'll look at those that might be seeking love. Wow, look at all the aces. And then those that are happily single. Okay. We'll start off first with those that are currently in a relationship. The message here is clear. If you need something, ask. Ace of Pentacles in reverse is not being afraid to speak up if something's missing, if there's a desire, a wish, or an expectation, setting it out there so that your partner knows how they should show up. And also, if you feel like something needs to be discussed, like maybe your partner wants something, say, hey, where are we at on this? It's so interesting because I've seen it in friends and various family members, throughout the years. Sometimes there'll be an argument and someone will say, you should know what you did wrong. I think that's a big red flag, and it's so much better to say, I'm really frustrated about this. Can we talk? You shouldn't have to pull out a deck of cards. You shouldn't have to play mind games. So if there's something going on, just come out and say it. It's going to save time. It's just a sign of maturity, right? Remember what I was talking about at the very beginning, finding a way to feel at ease with someone. That's the key to success in relationships. If you can bring it back into this, we can do this. You're my friend, you're my partner. We've got this. I think that's the key to continued success and moving beyond anything that might be frustrating. Matters of money could be coming to a central sort of point of focus. So maybe you disagree on how you should be spending money or time or energy, and there needs to be a common ground. What we see in the past is maybe a lack of follow through. And so now if you say you're going to do it. Same thing for the partner, basically holding each other to account, but also just understanding that to err is human, but if it's something that happens all the time, that's a bigger discussion to be had. And also there could just be an offer on the table. Someone could be interested in taking it to the next level. Do you want the same thing? So this is for people that have been together for a long time, but maybe haven't decided to be exclusive or to get married or whatever the next level is. If you decide to move in together, do it slowly. Or if you decide to make the next move, do it slowly so that there's time for adjustment. Anything new can be a little bit challenging. There could be pregnancy or a big change in career or something that is kind of testing the ties of this relationship. The thing that makes me feel good in the situation is this connection of friendship and camaraderie, and that's what you want to lean on, okay? Moving on to those that might be looking for love right now. You may have to be the initiator. Ace of Swords in reverse is reaching out and saying, I'm interested, do you want to hang out? Or asking someone, do you know who that is? Doing the work, not waiting for someone to come to you. There is a common theme as we're looking at this, which is clarity and communicative energy, not waiting around, not playing games. That is very much in the past, and it doesn't necessarily serve you or serve someone else. Say yes if you want to, say no if you want to, but be truthful above all else, okay? Can you find somebody? Yes. This person could kind of make you feel fall head over heels rather. We have fire sign energy coming forth. They're a little bit either outspoken or they may have a difficult time in listening. So make sure that the communication is where you want it. If you're single and happy, good for you. King of Swords coming through, showing that in this moment in time, you can actually set things into motion. As I'm looking at this, there's a lot of swords around this king. There's a lot going on. So this is a chance for you to really breathe life and energy into projects and opportunities. You could see some financial growth. You could take an idea and bring it to the next level. There may be more than one thing that you're juggling at the same time. And guess what? Even though you're single, there may be a new friendship or partnership that wants to present itself. Let's move on to the Destiny card. Very interesting energy here. We have the spider. You have two spiders that came through in this spread. So in the past, we have the Eight of Swords, recent past. And now we have this one coming through, which is saying don't limit yourself in the areas of creativity, manifestation, and definitely make sure that you're not overlooking the fine print, the details. In this period of time, you have the potential to bring something to the next level. So the spiders can be either on the tricky cards or the amazing cards. This falls into the category of the latter. Wheel of Fortune, 10 of Pentacles are often connected to the spider because it can create a web and attract things. So you have the ability right now to be very impactful, to attract prosperity and opportunity. Don't sell yourself short. We get to look at one last card. Anything that you still need some advice on, go ahead and put that final question out to the universe. Let's give the cards a shuffle and let's see what's coming through. Okay, we have a Knight of Wands in reverse. It's a yes to a yes or no. However, there may be a tendency to overthink. So go with your first intuition, go with your first instinct. There's an opportunity to be open-minded to a different time, place, or person when it comes to making this happen. Also, it's saying don't be afraid to slow down and, again, explore different options in front of you. So it's a yes, but don't rush. Yes, but trust yourself because it feels like, once again, there might be just a little bit of overthinking or a lack of perspective. So get the perspective that you need before moving forward. Finally, by the way, Knights, and especially Knight of Wands, they have the ability to bring something to the next level. But what is lacking here is the action. So make sure if there's a great idea that you follow through on that. And that, my friends, is everything for the month ahead. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, do me a favor. Please like and subscribe, leave a comment below. Let me know what resonated with you. I do appreciate the feedback. You can also give me a follow on social media so you never miss out on a future video. It's always Nicholas Ashbaugh on all the major platforms. I'm on Blue Sky as well. It's nicholasashbaugh.com there. That's also my website if you need more information about me. Quick reminder, I do not offer private readings. I also don't use direct messages. So if somebody tries to do that on another platform, stay smart, block report, let me know about it as well. If you'd like to show support, you can do it through super stickers, super chat, and memberships. And that, my friends, is everything. If you haven't already checked out the year at a glance forecast, I'll make sure that I put a link in this video. It's worth looking at, and it's something that you can refer back to over the course of the year. I'm currently working through all of the monthly forecasts. Hopefully they'll be up by the weekend. Again, I had some health issues, so did Apollo, so I just had to change the pace this month a little bit. I hope you enjoyed the new format. I appreciate your time, your energy, and I just wanted to say Happy New Year. Take care, and I'll see you soon, everybody. Bye-bye.